the Sanctuary of Light and the Light Institute welcome each and all of you to this time of knowings and invite you to bring forward the questions and the conversations of your heart so that we can shift ourselves, so that we can be free, so that we can embrace the great aha that awaits us in the adventure of life. So please bring forward anything that's important to you at this moment.
Chris, since tomorrow's Valentine's Day, could you talk about romantic love?
It's good stuff. We have so much to learn about romantic love because we look at a partner and we see them as a reflection of ourselves, or we see them as an answer to our lives. As I was driving up tonight, that's why I'm laughing, I was thinking of a little tiny book called He's Good to Me, but He's Good to Me. Because I was working with somebody and I realized how often I have heard women, hear ye, women say, oh, but he's so nice, but he's good to me, you know, as if that were all that you could ask for. And certainly to have someone who's good to you, male or female, is a great blessing. But it is ourselves that attract that he's good to me, she's good to me, conversation. And so what I would say is that the concept that we have a perfect partner is part of the illusion that came to us at the time of Atlantis when we split the male and the female, so that the female longs for the male inside the self, the completion of the self, and the male longs for the female inside himself. And so we have a lot of confusion about what is romantic love. What I would say to everyone is that it's easy. All you have to do with whomever you make love or desire or are inspired by is to hold that kind of energy of loving them. We are so filled in our conversations with the concepts that people are afraid of intimacy, that all of loving is an illusion. But we have to start with the self. If you start with the self, it's easy to love anyone. It's easy to look past their, this is imperfect, that's not good enough conversations, to what are the magnificent aspects of this being. And as you know, whenever we as ministers are marrying people, our advice is always wake up in the morning, look at that person and say, how can I love you better? Who are you today? So we can project upon someone the most delicious, wonderful, romantic love. But it's important to recognize that it's coming from our own willingness. It's coming from what we are designing and creating. And if we understand that, then we can receive love. We can feel loved. So often, someone is loving us and we don't accept it. We don't recognize it. We have no connection to it because we're off here looking for something else. And so we don't feel or open ourselves to sweet, wonderful, passionate love because we're so addicted to the pain of separation or the challenge of getting someone to love us. Loving is so much more simple than humans want to make it. And it comes from within ourselves to look at someone and be willing to feel that, to create a passionate energy. People talk about how after 5 years, 7 years, 2 years, 10 years, that the romantic part goes away. The reason it goes away is that we don't lift ourselves up to create it. We put someone in a box. My higher self says that within 30 to 60 seconds of meeting someone, we have already decided what channel of relation they will be for us. We especially love the ones who could hurt us. We especially love the ones that are a challenge, that we don't deserve, that will never choose us, that type. But if we actually looked at someone every day and said, who are you today? What kind of food do you like today? What's your fascination today? What's our adventure together today? Then romantic love could stay alive for a lifetime. People say that we've lost our capacity to love and that all marriages or connections end in divorce or separation. My own higher self says that we are coming to a time in the future where we will actually be able to stay with someone. Because as we open ourselves to seeing them from a spiritual perspective, we will allow our relationship to change every day. Sometimes the passionate lover, sometimes the friend, sometimes the counselor, sometimes the enemy. All of the channels of relation can play upon that which teaches us, that which helps us to evolve. So what I would say on Valentine's Day is love everyone and say so. And they think it's such a commercial rip-off that you send Valentine's cards. Like Christmas, like birthdays, like Easter, like Valentine's Day, we mark time. And it allows us collectively and individually to say, this is the day I tell you. This is the day I show you. Why not expand that? The more that you express your love for someone, the more they will return it. They will have the freedom to allow intimacy and to pass it back to you. So, romantic love is something that is easy, but we have to choose it. We can't just get into that pattern of who's the warm back against us at night or who comes to dinner, but rather, who is this person and how do we engage with them? I remember when I was young watching people in restaurants, and they would sit, if they were over 30 pretty much, they would sit in silence and eat and look around. And I promised myself that I would never do that in any relationship. That if there were silence, that I would extend that silence as a point of absolute oneness, or I would make conversation, or I would extend something so that there was that connection, especially when you're eating, because food and love are very connected. Bring on the chocolate of Valentine's Day. It will only do you good. It will only do you good. We know that it chemically stimulates the brain to feel loved. And so, again, it doesn't matter whether your Valentine's Day is romantic in terms of sexual or just the embrace of friendship. It doesn't matter if you make love to people of the same sex or opposite sex. All of the this way, that way, the other way that we have created are about the preservation of the tribe. They're not about today. But my higher self says, love well. It's not to whom you make love, it's how you make love. And so Valentine's Day is an opportunity to make love with your eyes, to make love with your words, to make love with your touch, to make love to your friends, to your children, to your animals, to everyone around you, to carry the energy of love and the possibility of love. Because so many people have lost themselves in, this is all I deserve, this is all I get. No, he's nice to me. Or those kinds of the smallness of it. Whereas we can stretch out and be passionate and bounce it off the world around us and have fun. If we could recognize that everyone who has come into your life is a soul friend, whether they've rejected you, whether they've hurt you, whether you've separated from them, they have come because you invited them. They have come in the form, in the channel that you have created. You have created the stamp that you put on them. You will be the one that hurts me. You will be the one who rejects me. You will be the one, ... And so it's really time for us to change our way of coming into relationship to recognize no one can hurt you. So be brave, have fun, love, extend it out. The more that you love, the more love can come back to you. Yeah. People are always waiting, and Valentine's Day is a perfect example of that. Where is the man who will bring you flowers? Where is the man that brings you the chocolate? You know, where is the place in you that's willing to say, I think I'll give you the chocolate, or the champagne, or the whatever you're into? We needn't wait. We needn't be so vulnerable and afraid that someone will not choose us or hurt us. What I find in working with people is that most of the tragedy of relationships and the dryness that comes after the passion is because we've stopped communicating, because we are contracting, because we are afraid to express or to show ourselves. There's a difference between saying, I can't live without you. I'm not talking about that. That's not my idea of passion. My idea of passion is just the ecstasy of connecting to someone and taking it up and taking it up and taking it up so that everything is possible. So I think it's important for us to not sneer at Valentine's Day, but to look around and say, who's my Valentine? Do you have a lover? If you're not having a lover, ask yourself, why not? Why not? There are lots of people in this world. My higher self says that 5,000 of them can be your perfect mate. So why are you hiding in the corner saying, no, 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 no? No one can hurt you. You will not die if someone doesn't choose you. And my recommendation, if someone hasn't chosen you in the past, is to say, oh, thank you. Because I'm sure that if you look back, you'll say to yourself, thank God you didn't choose me, because it would have been the wrong choice. It would have been miserable. And so we can see the fun of it. We can get the humor of it. And we can begin to call it in. Again, we have so many, it has to be this way, it has to be this way, it has to be this way, that no one can ever fit the bill. And we're sending out a message that says, you won't choose me anyway, or you wait, I'll catch you at doing something I don't like. Well, there's such a guard up that no one can get in. So I would say use Valentine's Day as a point of consciousness to clear away your armor, to open yourself up, to know that we are in bodies. Bodies want love. They want touching. They want to be touched. And if you're not being touched or you're not touching, then you have a hole somewhere in your consciousness repertoire. We're not here to live in the caves. We're here for the juice of life. However that comes to us, however we desire it, and to live a life and look back and say, nobody chose me, it's just not okay. If you want to live in your mind, go be in a galactic in some other planet. This is a planet that says, touch me, love me, connect to me, and don't be afraid. And just remember that if you reach out, you are placing a seed in the world that thousands of other people can be inspired by, can come across, can open themselves as well. We need to be templates. We need to let down our guard and be a Valentine. So you be my Valentine.
I'd love to.
There we have it.
How about flexibility? Like a lot of the things you said require flexibility.
Yes,
How
they
do you
do.
increase flexibility?
Yeah,
You used to say flexible mind, flexible body. Used to say that.
Yes,
At Najoni.
that's right. And what I meant by that was that if you could envision, if you could imagine, if you could reach out beyond your repertoire, your body will go with you. The body will follow the mind. The mind actually controls the body. So if the mind says, nope, not going to allow it, the body will contract. Because emotional mind is saying this is dangerous. So flexibility is about the willingness to participate without the voice inside saying, oh, this is dangerous, this will hurt you. You want to have that flexibility to let go of all of the no's. Why not? Because. Get rid of those. And start writing down why. Because of this, because of that. All of the possibilities. And that makes you flexible. Every person knows that in partners, in marriages, you lay down at night and you say, oh, don't touch me. I'm too tired. I don't want to. That's a rigid mind. And then there's the little possibility, and pretty soon you start to wiggle around a little bit and you open up. And we need that. We need that on every level of our lives. How can I harvest this? What can I do with it? And if we have that kind of flexibility of like playing with clay, and then our life can surprise us. Miracles can occur. Things we never thought were possible can come right to us. And then, and only then, can we say, is this delicious? Is this what I want? Or is this, oh, but he's nice to me? Because that one just doesn't do. Flexibility views the self as a self that is happy, that's growing, that's possible, has inquiry, that's curious, that's imagining. We're here to do that. Because if, as I said in the book, The Evolution of God, if the divine source evolves through our experience, then how sad that our experience is so limited. That it's so, no, not this way, not this way, not this way. There's no growth there. There's no evolution. There's certainly no flexibility. And so we find that if we look at what we said, no, this wouldn't work out, and we begin to say, but what if I did this? Or what if I moved over here? Life is like a chess game. Suddenly, reality is completely different. And that's what allows evolution. We cannot evolve in a vertical column. We have to go around the hologram. We have to play all the roles. We have to try out all the possibilities. And as we try them out, we learn. Oh, but if I just move over here, then things go better. If I say yes, it comes to me. If I allow it, I can manifest these things. And so flexibility is something that touches every level of our life. This is what children have. Look at the bodies of children, like a rubber, They don't worry if they fall down. They don't think about what could happen in the negative ways. They don't contract that way. They're always, what if? We need our inner child to help us to be in that delicious, flexible, juicy motion. Life is motion. It's not static. It's not suspended animation. Yes, we can stop for a moment and contemplate. We can stop and discern. But too much of our discerning comes from our fear. And so we cover it up with our mind. We cover it up with, because this wouldn't work out, ... Instead of, what if? What if I change? What if I come to it? What if I express and communicate from over here? Then that allows the world around us to come to us, rather than controlling the world, keeping it frozen. So flexibility is something that, and this is why people practice yoga or any kind of movement. If you move your body, you will change your mind. That's been known for thousands of years. The Chinese say it this way: blood follows qi, which is energy. Qi follows blood. So when we're attempting to become flexible, especially in the mind, if we begin with the body, the mind will change. And my favorite exercise for that is opening the arms and spinning around like a child. If you spin around, within 2 or 3 spins, your brain will slow down You will move into alpha. It will expand. You will stop the chatter. If you have a mind that's always saying, no, because, just spin around a little bit and it will stop. And then you can access the energies that are calling forth your true self. Come play. Come try this. Come master the other. It's all there for us. And so the mind, especially the emotional mind, is usually the last part of us of flexibility. And I think people recognize that the older we get, the more constricted we get. Because, and this is very true in love, when you're a teenager, you go through 1, 2, 3, 4 possible lovers or whatever those are, girlfriends, boyfriends, and ouch, a little sting, but you go on. We get to be 20, 30, 40, 50, and suddenly we're not willing to make that leap. We're not willing to have the sting, and so we miss out on life. Because the repertoire is saying, remember what happened when? That's why at the Light Institute and at Nijoni, we focus so much on clearing away memories, because they're always going to keep you in the groove. They're always going to say, only this way. And so flexibility necessitates flexing, extending, motion. Without, what's the result going to be? It's such a funny illusion that we humans have, that we think we can figure out what the result will be. We say, oh, well, that person's that way, so it'll be this way. And we never allow them to be themselves, so we never discover who we are. We need to, every day, feel as if we are a blank page. We will write upon that page joy, we will write adventure, we will write potential and possibility and manifestation. Not somebody else that's writing on our page. And people forget that. They, especially in relationships, they feel as if they have no power. You know, that the other one is choosing. And I recognize very well the tandemness. You know, what if you have a partner that drinks? What if you have a partner who is unfaithful? Well, very often. But this is all I get. This is what I deserve. And we don't realize that if we release, if we shake that off, that tired, old, tight snake skin off, and feel that fresh exposure of life, that we can draw to us something that's completely different. Yes, we have the right to discern. It's so amazing to people how terrified, or to me, how terrified people are of endings. Endings are just what you have to have before you have a beginning. They're linked together. So if you're waiting for your Valentine, what has to end? What are the thought forms you have about yourself that have to be released? And what are the ones you have to allow? I was working with someone this morning who had exactly that theme of their unworthiness to receive love. Heavens. Just because your mother told you that, your father told you that, your first boyfriend told you that, your first girlfriend told you that, let it go. Let it go and step into the arena of life. I think in terms of Valentine's Day, we could do a lovely exercise right now. And that is to think for a moment, if you were, whether you're married or whether you have no partner or whether you need to shift your relationship with a partner, if you were putting out a message that would attract someone to you, what would that message be? Can you even compose it in your mind? You know, let's dance, let's make delicious love, I am magnificent. What would the message be that you could send out to allow someone to come to you? And so I think we'll do a little Valentine's beaming here out into the ethers. Because again, it's not what's out there, but it's what's coming from inside us. What is the message that we want to put out? Not the message we're putting out. Because I can look around this room and I can tell you exactly the messages you're putting out. They are so loud, they're almost deafening. But so let's just contemplate for a moment. And I'm going to ask you afterwards. So come on, think big, be juicy, be unabashed. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath into your body. Bring your consciousness into your heart, in actuality. And ask your heart to show you a juicy, wonderful, positive, truthful message that your heart wants you to put out into the world about who you are, about what kind of loving belongs to you. Just for a moment, let your heart show you. Yes. Now, just take a deep breath and imagine that you're actually drawing that message from the cosmos, that it's coming from your soul, from your essence. So it's not coming with any conditions, it's not coming with any tarnish, it's coming with the beauty and the power, purity of your soul. Draw it down through the top of your head. Allow it to move into your heart level. Feel that energy swelling your heart, opening your heart. And then bring it from your heart down into your stomach. This is the seat of the emotional body, and from there, laser that message that is passed down through your heart with clarity and emotional purity. Send it out. Just imagine that you're sending it out to everyone you know, out into the planet so that all the people could send a message like that, and out into the future. Feel how delicious that is. Oh, come on, send it out further. Send it out, you cowards. Take a deep breath. I'm watching. And open your eyes. Okay, now, what was the message you put out? What was the message that you put out? Come on, come on. Amy?
Let's touch.
Let's touch.
I saw lots of little tiny effervescent bubbles.
Great.
It was just like everybody and everything just kind of touching, and it was very ecstatic.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So you can put something out like that. It's pretty ethereal. You put it out like that as energy, and the next thing you know, there might be someone squeezing you. Because it's allowing. It's allowing those. Denise, what did you put out?
I'm still getting that soften your want that I've been getting for a couple months here in the globe.
But if you put that out, are you talking about you? Is that the message you're putting out?
Yeah, it's not to be so crystallized about everything, but just to be really receptive, softening.
Yeah, but now I'm going to come back to you because I want a message that actually says that you are someone who has a softened want. What would a softened want be like for you? Would it be laughter? Would it be kissing? Would it be applauding? Would it be exposing? What would that softened want be? Because until you can envision that, you can't let go. You can't let go of that crystallization. I'm coming back. All right.
Comply with me in growth and expansion.
All right, that's a pretty good one.
Well, the first one that hit me was Let's Dance, but you got that one. Or I got it from you, whatever.
Well, flying is a kind of dancing.
It is, and especially at, universe type speed.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good. What about you?
I also got the touching, when it was really kind of coming close to each other and touch and be together and make juicy love.
Great. Juicy love is good? Absolutely. Okay, you guys.
Come play with me.
Come play with me. The invitation. And if you actually extend that out, people will. They will, on all levels of your being. Yes?
I had that too. I said it different though. I said like who I am. I'm very playful. I'm very sexy. I'm very erotic. That's what I said.
Yeah! That's kind of like mine. I said, I'm wild, wild, wild. Excellent. That's it. So really, let that keep streaming out of you. There are, again, infinite possibilities with people that you're with now, people that are waiting for you. We never recognize that. So let me just whisper this concept into your reality. There are a multitude of possible partners that are simply waiting for you to align to a certain frequency so that they can come into your space, so that they can appear and begin to play with you, to dance with you, to fly with you, all of those things. And so often we feel as if we're alone and we work all day, we'll never meet anyone. We have such tapes going on. And instead of, they're waiting. They're waiting for you to really send that message out so they can get in. Okay, now, what would it look like if you listened for once? What would it be?
Curiosity.
Curiosity.
Curiosity. Let's be curious.
Yeah. So, when you're curious, you can't be curious and judgmental at the same time. Because if you're judgmental, you can't see. You can't see the potential. You can't see what's there. You can only see what you've already recreated. And so when you're curious, it wipes the slate clean. And it allows miracles. It allows all kinds of possibilities to come up around you, in front of you, with you. So curiosity, that's why children are curious. They will touch something that we would say would be dangerous for them because they want to explore its possibilities. You say, don't touch the fire, it could burn you. But what else could it do? It could warm you. It could delight you by its dance. It could create all kinds of visual repertoire that will make you a wonderful artist, that will make you appreciate life. You see, we never take it. We never let it play out. So curiosity is really just saying, if you focus on being curious, what is that? What is that? What's it doing? What's that over there? All of that, what I need, what I want, will fall away. But you've had a good week, so not to whimper. What else?
Oh, why? You often said your higher self says to let go of the angels, and I never understand what you mean by that.
What it means is that the angels are our cousin species. We are related to them. They have genetic encoding, genetic DNA. Because of cosmic experiences, they are indebted, let's say, or an indentured race to us on many levels. Because of their own actions, cause and effect has caused them to bring contracts that say that they must protect us. So you have to have a guardian angel, etc. All of those crystallizations about who angels are have actually separated us from them because we see them in very stylized religious forms. That they are only good, that we could never be like an angel. An angel certainly never has sex. etc., etc., etc. So we have projected a lot of thought forms that basically come from religious upbringing upon this cousin species. What I say in my books is we have to free them from being our guardians so that they can evolve. We are holding them in a holding pattern. When they are up here and we are down here, and we could never be angelic unless we never said anything, never did anything, etc., then we cannot move and they cannot move. And so when we free the angels, what happens, and this is true whether it's a husband, a child, a parent, a business partner, when you let someone go, these are cosmic laws of relationship, they are free then to release that crystallization and influence you from pure energetic levels. As we free the angels, we will become angelic because we have created a line that we cannot supersede. When we allow the angels to evolve, to not have to be our guardians. When you say to an angel, I have a guardian angel, what you're really saying is you can't trust you to take care of yourself. That nobody's out there, not even God is out there taking care of you. You have to have this angel. Otherwise you might fall off the edge or something might harm you. Those are thought forms and conclusions that simply do not allow spiritual truth. Humans cannot evolve to be godlike until we're willing to trust that we are in this body, that we're using this body, and know that consciousness is not tethered to the body. I did a cranial on a 12-year-old yesterday, and he went out of his body. It was so sweet. It was so cute. It was so easy for him. He just popped out of his body. What does that mean? It doesn't just mean, oh, look at me, I'm special, I popped out of my body. It means that you are not your body. How could we use that to stop being afraid, to stop limiting ourselves, to be curious, to be flexible? And so we have created this intertwining, basically small reality, crystallized viewpoint about angels that holds them and holds us. So when you stop mirroring, when you stop projecting on someone outside you, and you find that inside you, you grow and expand. And that's what I mean when I say, if you let go of your guardian angels, then you become angelic. And I'm going to tell a story here because it's about somebody's mother who lives in Galisteo. Many years ago, it must have been 18, 20 years ago, she came to one of my knowings, and I was talking about freeing the angels. And that we had discussed it in divinity class, and it really upset her because she has had the gift, a psychic gift, of actually seeing angels all of her life, since she was a child. And so part of her sense of self was that here were all these angels around her. They spoke to her. She had a guardian angel. She got very ticked off when I started talking about, get rid of your guardian angels. And so she went home and she went into her garden and stood outside at night and snarled to herself and called her guardian angel and said, well, do you want to be released? And her guardian angel said, oh, yes, please. And she was so stunned. And she said, okay. And I had shown her this thing, you know, release your guardian angel, release your angels. What was amazing was that for about 3 weeks after that, she was translucent. Her eyes were big like this. She looked as if an angel were walking amongst us. It was breathtaking. It was physically breathtaking to see the shift in her. So what happened is, at least for those 3 weeks, she suddenly became the angel. She suddenly carried it around with her. And this is called evolution. The potential for us all. It's not negating that there are angels or not honoring your religion or or your spiritual understanding. It's just expanding and allowing other possibilities which could nourish your life. Because if your life is about being guarded or protected, you're not doing much of living. You're just on a treadmill. You're just making it through this lifetime. And you know what happens? You get to do it again and again and again with the same themes and the same fears and the same people. And so my higher self says, free the angels. Let them go. It doesn't mean you'll lose them. It just means that you will take up that space and you'll become angelic and you'll expand what it is to be an angel. There are different species, I'm not sure what the word is, of angels. You know, they're the archangels, they're the cherubs. There are different frequencies of angelic life that influence us and engage with us in different ways. Children usually come in with their angelic DNA. That's why they have these little round faces, and when they begin to puff out their auric fields, which only come out about this far, they just puff pink, little pink puffs, especially when they see their mamas, you know, which is just love. It's just pure love. And then they go into their devic stage and they go into different octaves. We have to progress in our lives. There is not one stage that has more value than another. It's just a point of view over here. If you master the angelic energy, you will be able to be a different kind of human. As someone who can engage with the Devic kingdom or the galactics, because you have expanded your repertoire in a way that allows that curiosity to take you forward into the evolution of your soul. So it's not about losing or getting rid of or some kind of, about viewing, for example. What is it about angelic energy that would support you? It's not guarding you, but would most support your evolution and the advancement of your true self. Your true self doesn't need any protection. You will live again and again and again. You have a higher self that's teaching you, that's orchestrating, that's allowing you to come to all of the blueprint points of reference that you as a soul created for yourself in this lifetime. So as you access these energies, you become who you are, not becoming somebody else, but who you are, accessing your angelic DNA, your devic DNA, your galactic DNA, your human DNA, so that your life is rich. And it's not about the contraction of fear, the contraction of loss. We don't lose the angels when we free them. We become them. That's very important to humanity. Very, very important. And to see them in different ways. We have such funny ideas about them that they never have doubts. No, they learned from their own experiences that they are not here to interfere. You know, interfering is not their purpose. But their purpose is to provide a template of unconditional love, of fearless and powerful, ecstatic and joyful emotions. That's what they're about. So what we want to do is to free them so they can evolve and we can become them.
What's an archangel?
Well, that's a particular kind of angel. The way that we have learned about them in the past is that they hold, let's say, the most seriousness or the most responsibility of angels. In many different religions, archangels are talked about as the ones that like Arjuna, that fought for their Lord. So they have a kind of organizing power with them that again says this is how it is, but this is not, and if it's not, then we will challenge it. So archangels are the ones that we most have recognized. Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, all of these ones that we have heard about, not only in Christian texts, but even in Far Eastern texts that were given names and had particular roles to play in, let's say, demonstrating or abiding by the laws of their Lord. And for example, in the Muslim faith, Muhammad was given messages by Gabriel, by the Archangel Gabriel, who gave him formulations as to how to live life. But some of those formulations were obviously a little filtering in of the personal self. For example, Gabriel supposedly said, "Don't beat your wife too much." Well, Gabriel, if you said that, I'm firing you.
Be nice to him.
Yeah, be nice. Be nice. No, not good enough. So, however, I do not doubt that Muhammad did speak to this personage, at least in the beginning. He went into caves and meditated, and he started hearing bells. And the bells got louder and louder and came more and more. And pretty soon there was the voice of Gabriel. So again, how do we humans interpret the cosmos? You know, we interpret it out of our own repertoire. If Muhammad could have interpreted from his cosmic self the messages that he would have written down, or would have been written down, that he expressed, that Gabriel had passed to him, would be very different. They would be much more cosmic and much more inclusive of today's world, for example, of a timeless entity, a timeless essence. And this is true in every religion there is. All prophets feel that they're speaking to God. Allah, whatever you want to call it, a consciousness beyond the human level. So, Gabriel was an archangel, is an archangel. Angels don't have lifetimes like we do. And it brought forward something that organized and brought purpose to the lives of thousands of people. But again, what are some of those messages? They are not conducive to peace. They do not bring oneness, which angels are tasked to bring. Not your God against my God. Not blood, do as I say or die. They are not these things. So the archangels need some evolution, and we can give it to them. We can commune with them. It's interesting that science says that the breath of the first human is still circulating in our atmosphere. So what we did in our divinity classes was to look at templates of spiritual knowing, templates of great intelligence, of love, of wisdom of various kinds, and access those energies. So I would say to you that not only can you access your guardian angel, but you could access any archangel, any point of consciousness that has ever perpetrated our dimensional space, our astral energy. And there are many levels of stratification of astral energies that surround planet Earth, and our perception of heaven, hell, all of these levels of existence. So we can access them with our consciousness. We can choose to align to frequencies, to knowledge, to love that support us, that help humanity to evolve. It's time to do it now. What else?
Got another one.
Yes.
I was just watching a DVD today, and the scientist was talking about all of these studies that they've been doing about how the mind, what you think, your thoughts affect your body, and then your body starts affecting the way your body feels, starts affecting your thoughts, and so that you create this loop. And as I was watching that, I was thinking, wow, will you please talk about how your work, your session work, your exercises in consciousness affect those loops?
Mm-hmm. I've been talking about it for 40 years.
I know, and I could listen to you forever.
But here's what I said initially tonight, that the mind affects the physical body. We know for a fact today that you can lower your blood pressure, that you can still your heart, that you can do many things that we used to say scientifically were impossible, that we had no influence over the autonomic nervous system. We know today that consciousness, direct thought, can influence those things. So through our minds, we can orchestrate and allow our bodies to come to a more powerful state of balance, a state of health. But when we start talking about emotional mind, thoughts that are fearful, thoughts that are negative, those stimulate the physiological, biochemical body. And the biochemistry, for example, if you have a thought of fear, it will trigger the release of adrenaline, which is fight or flight that comes from your adrenals above your kidneys. Will go through the emotional body level, it will pass up the vagus nerve into the brain, and it will say, run or fight. And with that chemistry, that biochemistry, the brain will compose a reality. And this is why we have so many people on taking chemical support for themselves, which is just a downward loop, it's a downward spiral. So if you stimulate your brain to fight or flight, it will say, life is dangerous. And it will hold on, it will crystallize that, and it will imprint that. And then what happens is that through your vision, through your ears, through all of your sensory apparatus, you will begin to identify experiences or visions as dangerous. And so that loop just becomes more engrooved and more engrooved, so that pretty soon you forgot how to laugh. You forgot how to trust. You forgot how to risk, because the chatter in your mind is saying, don't do that, watch out, be careful. And it's a tragedy that in today's world we use chemistry to amplify that. So whenever we talk about the mind, because remember, it's not just in the brain. We think of it in the brain. We look at the neurotransmitters in the brain. We look at the parts of the brain that tell us different things or communicate with us in different ways. But in fact, the trillions of cells in your body, every single one of them holds all of that. Yeah. Every cell has mind, and every cell is a threshold between the physical world and the unmanifest. And so that's why we become sick, or we become limited, or we become contracted, because the loop continues to repeat itself. The emotional body does not have the aha. It doesn't have future. It just has its own experience. So we have to break that pattern. We have to break that pattern by using nutrition, so that we feed a different biochemistry into the body. We have to break that pattern by giving ourselves new possibilities that distract the brain or the mind from its usual loop. Oh, this won't work out. Oh, that's not good. So that it stops making the biochemistry. There is a biochemistry, and there is an electromagnetic energy to our auric fields, to our to laughter, to giggles, to thoughts, that influence the body. That's why it's so important to move the body. If we move the body, it will pump the blood, it will nourish the brain, it will nourish the mind of the cell, and the brain, the mind will say, everything's fine, everything's fine. We attempted to do it through our limited concept of what was going on in the brain, and we've made a terrible mistake. And thousands upon, well, I would say millions of people are suffering from that. So what I want to say is that our brain, our mind is capable of reinventing ourselves, of doing what it hasn't done before, of coming out of depression, of coming out of fear, of coming out of these things through energetic pathways. So our work at the Light Institute is about triggering the energetic pathways, the consciousness, just in the same way you distract a child. Oh, don't worry about that. Look over here. Well, the brain is the same way. The body is the same way. Just move. Just dance. And it forgets what it was worrying about. And so we can influence through creativity, through consciousness, the channels that are our interpretation of ourselves, of our bodies, and the world around us. And that's what's exciting. So I applaud science for coming along. We still don't know anything about the brain. We don't know anything, which always happens in scientific exploration, is that first we have an experience, and then we begin to define that experience, and then we repeat that experience, and then we call it truth. And this is why my higher self says that whatever you experience is true. So what are we doing with our experiences? What are we willing to experience? That's where it is. So our life, our work is about this lifetime, many incarnations of the soul, bringing into our conscious repertoire experiences that support us, that heal us, that allow us to expand, that allow us to use life so that this lifetime becomes a pivotal one that creates an evolution of our soul.